The Brian Gould Show features content from the internet and current events throughout the world. All photos, videos, names, and other content is for entertainment purposes only. Please don't fall asleep. It's rude.
Hello, everybody. Episode number 34 of The Brian Gould Show. I am your host, Brian Gould, along with
Joe Cool.
So that is an excellent way to get back at your buddy going through airport security and to pack his bag with a special gift.
You'd do something like that with me, wouldn't you?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, but what they don't know is you actually carry one, don't you?
Well, for events like that, yeah, I'd carry it just as stuff in your bag.
Now, would you be more embarrassed having that done to you, or would you be more embarrassed going into the store and saying, "Where do you keep your dong?"
I don't embarrass very easily. I don't embarrass hardly at all. So I would think it would be funny to see it. I'd be kind of mad but funny, I guess. Embarrassed, no. Obviously, it's not mine. I'd probably beat you with it if you did it to me. But to walk into a sex shop and ask, for something like that would obviously be a prank.
Well, I actually had to.
Yeah, well, your outfit.
We went to a Halloween party one time, or a club. We went to a club, and I dressed as a male exotic dancer. Only it was my flasher.
Yeah, you did the flasher.
I did a flasher gimmick, and I had that attached, and I would flash people with it.
I would have no problem walking into a shop and asking and buying one of those, because I would let the person behind the counter know it's for a gag.
Yeah, and he'd look at you like, sure it is.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty funny.
Not bad. Well, it's sad news. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we lost 3 celebrities last week.
And not just little names.
Doris Roberts.
Pretty big names.
Was the first one. She was in Grandma's Boy and Everybody Loves Raymond. She did a great job on that show, and Grandma's Boy was really good. She even did I think she was in Full House as well. I think she did a couple spots here and there on that show, and a few other shows along the way. 90 years old.
90 years old. What did she die from?
I think natural causes. I really didn't see. I read it, but nothing's been really officially released.
90 years old. That's a long life.
That's a long life.
That's a long life.
Then a few days later, China, WWF, formerly of the WWF.
Very
China.
sad.
She was found dead, and I was just reading this morning follow up on her death. According to authorities, she was dead for probably up to 2 days before she was found.
I read that too.
That's wild.
I saw a video, the last video she ever posted on her Facebook page. She got up in the morning and she sounded out of it, and she made a smoothie, and the video itself just didn't look right. She was really, I'm not a morning person either, but
she's starting to look rough towards the end. It was
bad. But
and then we lose.
May her rest in peace.
Yeah, and then we lose Prince, icon.
Yeah, that was a shocker to everybody.
Yeah.
From what I read, 6 days earlier, he had to make an emergency landing on his jet, and they had to give him one of those life-saving shots that you get for an OD.
And his people were saying it was because of the flu.
It was because of the flu.
But now it's being found out that probably wasn't the case.
It's another Michael Jackson story. Michael had needle marks all over his body. Who would have known? It's that lifestyle they live, I guess.
I think it just finally catches up.
Yeah,
how many years did Michael perform and really push his body to extremities where he needed certain prescription drugs just for pain and to keep going and keep going and keep going? And I'm sure Prince was one step behind him on the medication trail.
I read yesterday, as a matter of fact, I read that Prince was going into one of the medicine places 4 times a month.
Wow. And he had a good diet. Like, he was a healthy guy in the aspect of, like, he was a vegan. Like, he was like the extremist vegetarian. Like,
you have to remember, him and Michael both were little guys. I mean, Prince was tiny. So whatever amount of drugs you give him would have to be less than what a normal person would probably take.
You're right, because I'm like 215, and whatever you prescribed me dosage-wise versus him, he had to have been, what, 130, 140?
If that, yeah.
You know, give or take a few pounds one way or the other. You're not going to give him the same milligrams, and if you do, that reaction,
yeah. So you might have another Michael Jackson doctor
messing this up case.
Problem, yeah.
Who knows? We'll find out when that toxicology report comes out.
When he went to the hospital, they were telling him you need to stay in for a day or two, and he said, "Well, I need a private room," and they didn't have a private room,
so he left. Oh, that's too bad. Well,
and 6 days later, he passed away.
God bless to them and family and loved ones.
What a talent! What a talent! He could play every instrument there was, and he had a heck of a voice on him. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like him when he first came out. I thought he was a little feminine. And back in high school, if you were to say, "Yeah, you like somebody like that," it would.
Yeah, you were looked down upon.
You were looked down upon.
Yeah.
But growing up, you look at him for what he was, and heck of a talent. Wow.
So we lost 3 people in a week's time.
Yeah.
Big names.
Too many people are going. This year alone, you can count, how many people are gone. And you start to wonder who's going to be next.
There's a lot. And, I mean, we kicked off the year with the big name, like David Bowie died.
Yeah.
And, just too many to name, really. There's been a lot of big names. There was another big one that died like a month later in February. Who was it?
Another artist, right?
I can't recall off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, Dusty and Piper.
That was last year, though.
Was that last year already?
Last year, and we're coming up on a year anniversary of those deaths, coincidentally, too.
Wow.
Already, yeah.
Wow.
But, well, let me pull this up real quick while we're talking about it.
Sad. I mean, somebody was saying Prince could predicted his own death. He knew he was going to go. Look at all those people. Death. We're looking
David
at
Bowie, Prince.
Abe Pagoda, I think, passed away. We're looking at all these pictures of people who passed away this year. And, wow. A lot.
So that makes this is the list I was looking at this morning, right here on wet paint. Going in reverse order. Prince has been one of the most recent ones. China, Doris Roberts, and then of course the website's going to freeze up in the middle of all this.
Tell you what, for 90 years old, she looked pretty spry.
She looked pretty good. Yeah.
David Guest, who was married to Liza Minnelli.
Hugh Hefner's brother died. Not that anybody would know who that. Oh, Frankie Sinatra Jr. died.
Yeah.
That was the other one I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra Jr. died. Merle Haggard. I mean, these aren't just people picked out at random. They're pretty big names. Patty Duke.
Yep.
Gary Shandling.
Yeah. It's just one after another after another after another. And
yeah, the father who played I can't remember who he played on. Character actor.
Rob Ford. We didn't even mention him. He just passed away recently too. The old mayor of Toronto. It's just one after another. I mean, I won't continue to.
Well, 72. Frank Sinatra Jr. was 72. That's a pretty long life, too.
That's a good life.
But you look at people like Prince, he was, 57?
Yep.
And China was 45.
45.
I'm 50. I start to think sometimes, how much time do I have left?
This is going to sound weird.
It sounds morbid, but it's true.
Me being 36, I didn't realize China was that young. I thought she was 50 already.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was only 9 years older than me.
Right.
Yeah.
And she had been gone from the WWE for a while.
And
so she had been in there when she was in her 20s.
She was there when it was WWF, and it hasn't been WWF in a long time.
They got the F out.
Yep, they sure did.
Man.
So I was reading this interesting article this morning. I don't usually prepare for the show too much in advance, usually the day before.
You read.
Yeah, that too. But it caught me off guard. I was just kind of scrolling through stuff, and deaths, suicides in America, the U.S. in particular,
they
are way up.
Yeah.
24%. And most of the increase, of course, happened from 2004 through 2008 during that recession that we had. Teen suicides, in particular, from the ages 10 through 14,
up,
are way up.
What do you think causes
200%.
Wow.
They're saying for every 100,000 people, not teen deaths, just people in general, for every 100,000 people, 14 people commit suicide.
Wow.
And women, the number one, going by categories, like teen deaths, 10 through 14.
I know what the number one
increased the most. Second on the list was women from ages 40 through 45, and they were up 122%.
Man.
Now, why would a middle-aged woman commit suicide? Why? What are the reasonings behind that? Reasons? And two, why is that up? What am I missing?
Probably the times. I mean,
it's
harder now to live.
The most suicides happen, it said, literally from 2008 or 2006 through 2008 through the peak of that recession that we were in. It started ramping up in 2004. So that, I don't know what happened in 2004 in particular, 2004 and 2005, but that was like when the whole housing industry was really booming. It started taking
off again.
But no one got hit or hurt till 2006.
Maybe it's just the times we live in.
But what are we missing? Is it? It's
not just any one thing. The dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to.
Well, it didn't then.
Money worries are always.
I could pinpoint and blame social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, for the teen deaths going up because of bullying. Yeah, that's what the trigger is for that. I'm sure that. I bet that's like 98% of the issue.
And maybe it hits older people too.
But the women, the 40 through 45.
There's been things said about both of us that has gotten under our skin.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So maybe that's what it is. It's just social media and
somebody that
other things
that's listening. Text me, private message me, or when you see me face to face. I see a lot of our viewers face to face, or listeners face to face. And a handful of women that I talk to about the show, you fall approximate in that category, in that age range from 40 to 45, 46 range. What is it at that point in life that brought the women? It said men do it the most, but the highest jump was that specific age range.
Why do you have to say jump and suicide in the same?
Well, jumping's not one of the top 5 causes. No, yeah, that was the other thing. I thought jumping off a bridge. Well, there's not a bridge everywhere, so that's not really plausible.
What was number one? Do you know? Pills.
Yeah,
that's just a problem altogether. Pills.
Then self-inflicted wound like a gunshot, hanging.
Now, is there a difference between overdosing, or they call those a suicide too?
Well, there's intentional then unintentional,
right?
And intentional is a suicide, obviously. Unintentional is unintentional death by overdose.
And I think that's what happened to China, given her history.
Yeah,
but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find that out. And you know what? I'm sure you build up a tolerance to that stuff, because the authorities did put in the police report that there was prescription bottles there that did not seem out of place.
Right. They were emptied.
Right. She was taking them on her normal, whatever was prescribed dosage. So I bet her tolerance level probably built up a little bit, and her body was starting to say, okay, we can't handle these. And for such a long-term time, she probably...
Pills in general is not good.
It stinks. It's really good. Bad. But I really thought the suicide thing was interesting. That
what was number one? Besides pills, hanging.
It was self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. Gunshot.
Like gunshot. hanging yourself or running in front of a, not a bus, but I had a friend a couple years ago. He was at a crossroad in his life. He was just turned 42 or 43, I believe. And on a Thursday night, it was an off night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, went out, had a handful of drinks, hopped and walked right out on I-75 and got hit by a semi-truck.
Wow.
Yep, just walked right in front of it. And bartenders don't really remember if he was just that drunk and it happened, or if he just really had a mental breakdown and said, okay, I'm done with life, and did it.
Yeah.
And that's,
I had a friend growing up. He thought he had a brain tumor. Ended up hanging himself. He didn't want to go through it.
Yeah.
Comes to find out he didn't have a brain tumor.
Just goes to show, it's just like at any given moment, you think someone's, no matter the fame, fortune, or whatever the case may be, how happy they may appear, it seems like you're usually blindsided by it.
Go get help. If you feel like that, go get help.
Talk to somebody.
I'll admit it. I've had to do it. I've had to go get help. And
I think at some point we all have. I don't think there's anyone out there that hasn't at least not thought about, okay, what would life be like if I wasn't here? But at least you express to someone, hey man, I'm just having a bad day. Let's go catch a movie, go catch a beer, go catch a game or something. And that alleviated that stress. Some people take it to different levels, obviously, but
man, it's been one cheerful
real
show,
great
hasn't it?
intro.
Wow, man.
So Burger King, we'll transition here. Burger King wants to compete with McDonald's and Taco Bell. They're doing two things different now. Breakfast? No.
No?
Nope.
Making gender bathrooms.
Oh, geez, I don't even want to get into that crap. That's horrible.
No, that's not on the list.
No. One is they're reducing the price of their chicken nuggets, the 10-piece, down to $1.49.
Yes!
And they're going to change the recipe on their chicken fries. So their answer to fight back McDonald's and Taco Bell is chicken.
Chicken. I don't like any of those. The chicken McNuggets I can handle. If you want to call them chicken McNuggets.
Right. Well, they are.
Really are.
They're chicken. They're decent meat. They really are.
It might be dog for all we know.
One of these days we'll find out it's probably like raccoon or possum or something weird.
It's like those turkey legs from Walmart.
Well,
they're not turkey
smoked
legs.
Turkey legs that you get at the fair and stuff, those aren't turkey legs.
Yeah.
Look at a turkey that you eat at Thanksgiving and look at the leg on that, and then look at the smoked turkey legs.
Right, those legs aren't that big.
That's like...
Those legs are bigger than mine.
Right, exactly. Those are not turkey legs, people. Not to mention the tendons, the big thick tendon that you bite into and pull out of there. Those are not turkey legs, trust me.
I just feel like going up to the guy at Walmart and say, what really are these? They're not turkey.
Mm-mm.
But I don't think they'll disclose it.
They probably don't know. No.
And I'm a big Chick-fil-A chicken guy. I like Chick-fil-A.
They're okay. They're just too expensive. They overprice their stuff.
But it's good.
And I think they do that for two reasons. One, because it sets them apart from everybody else. And if you ever notice, okay, you walk into a McDonald's, you walk into a Burger King, you walk into Taco Bell, and you walk into a Chick-fil-A. It's like walking into Walmart, Kmart, and Target. Like the clientele that eats at Chick-fil-A is soccer mom, high class. I've got my Fiji bottle of water in my hand, and
Starbucks
people. Yeah, sorry to profile people like that, but that's just the case. You don't see Chick-fil-A people eating at Burger King.
No.
And you sure as hell don't see Burger King people eating at Chick-fil-A.
It's funny, ever since I started eating at Chick-fil-A, I will not go to like a McDonald's for the McNuggets or anything like that. It's just night and day with me.
And I understand it, but
I'll pay a little bit extra if it's that good. I don't mind.
And you know what? I don't think it's that great.
No?
To justify the price. I think they mark their stuff up because they set themselves apart, and the other point is because they're closed on Sunday, so they got to make up that profit.
I get the little nuggets there, and I think it's an 8-piece.
And
I usually get 2 of those, and it's like $6.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Those little nuggets, they're more like nuggets. It's like taking a chicken nugget from McDonald's and cutting it in half and saying that's a 2-piece.
But they're a lot better. And that's real
it's
chicken.
It's such a rip-off.
That's real chicken, though.
Yeah, it's all real chicken.
No, it's not.
Oh,
McDonald's McNuggets aren't real chicken.
It sure is. They wouldn't be able to advertise it as chicken if it wasn't.
You think so?
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think it's... Well, how does Walmart get away with saying smoked turkey leg when they're not?
It's probably got smoked turkey flavoring in it. That's about it.
I don't know.
And then Taco Bell, wow, you walk into a Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell
they're
food.
do chicken.
Well, no, Burger King's beefing up their chicken menu to try to compete with everybody else. Why that's
the way to go.
Why that's relevant, I don't know, but chicken seems to be on the up and up right now.
Okay, let's rate. How would you rate KFC and Popeyes?
Okay, I had never eaten at a Popeyes until I moved to Florida, and I ate at a Popeyes. I've been here 16 years. I ate at Popeyes for the first time 2 years ago. And Popeyes chicken is really good.
I agree.
KFC back in the 80s and 90s was excellent. It's so mass produced now, it's greasy and just hard to stomach.
Right.
80s/90s KFC steamrolls Popeye's chicken today, hands down. But if you were to compare their chicken side by side right now, I'd prefer Popeye's.
I like Popeye's spicy chicken.
It's good.
It's real good. KFC would be next on my list.
Well, as far as chicken preparation, it's hard to eat.
And I don't know if these were before your times or not. Roy Rogers?
I've heard of them, never eaten at one.
They were good. And I'm a chicken lover. Now I'll sit home and I'll deep fry my own chicken.
We don't have one here in Sarasota. There's one in St. Pete, and I think 1 or 2 in Tampa. There was one in Ocala when I had my stint in Ocala. It was called a Zaxby.
Never heard of it.
And it's very comparable, their chicken quality, to Popeyes. I used to get their chicken Caesar salad, and you get it to go. You order takeout, and you get it one of those big to go styrofoam containers,
right?
And you can't even close it, and latch it, because they just load it with all this lettuce and all this chicken. By far the best.
Did you know Walmart makes spicy chicken now?
No, they're into it too.
But they put like Tabasco.
Oh, wow.
Where it's just so hot, it tastes horrible.
The chicken's on fire before you even get it home.
Yeah, it's no good. No good, Walmart.
Mm.
You don't need all that spices on there.
So, we've got actually, I had an interesting question the other day, and it was, why are we not playing the alphabet game anymore?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and I know you're not a big. A viewer asked me about it, and I was like, well, I just kind of forgot and get sidetracked. And like last week, I pushed, I was going to do the top list on Tuesday and movie review on Friday. I was sick. I had a head cold from hell all week and didn't get any sleep. I'm up blowing my nose, sneezing. Still have a little congestion now. So everything that I was supposed to do last week, I'm doing 100% this week.
I bet you got sick from Will Ferrell.
I got sick Monday night.
He gave it to you, didn't he?
After we did the show, I started feeling a little under the weather by Monday night. Tuesday morning when I woke up, man, it felt like I had 10 pounds of cotton shoved up my nose. I couldn't breathe.
For those of you that don't know, this man interviewed Will Ferrell.
I did interview Will Ferrell on Wednesday. You can find that.
It was a great interview. Find it.
We had one person subscribe last week, too, by the way.
Thanks, Mom.
And it was not on a referral. No. And you know what? For those of you listening, I kicked this little contest thing out there, and it's whatever. You're just listening and enjoying, but participate. Find somebody that that might be interested in killing 20 to 30 minutes of their time, a car ride from home to work or to the grocery store, and say, hey, check this out. Press the subscribe button for me so I can get a free t-shirt. So I'm going to continue that contest into this week and keep continuing it till someone gets a friend or a relative or somebody, a stranger, I don't care, grab their phone, go to YouTube, type in Brian Gould Show, and press subscribe on their phone and say, hey, Brian, you got a new subscriber because of me. And then you go to my website, briangouldshow.com, not hard to spell. Click on the little shopping cart to the far right and go find a t-shirt you want in my store. And it is free. You tell me which one you want, and I will have it drop shipped right to your front door.
That's the right price for me. Free.
That's the favorite four-letter word. Free and money's my favorite four-letter words.
Now you know why we don't do the alphabet game anymore.
Well,
money.
There wasn't a real reason behind why we're not doing it. I just
because I suck at it. Okay, there you go.
Okay, yeah, because it's not fair. Like out of 10 times, you won once.
Yeah,
and that was because we had a third person that split the alphabet in 3 ways.
Exactly. I'd rather find a different game, like maybe.
But people like it. Like the criticism and feedback that I was getting.
I like to do like top 10 lists with you.
Well, people would come to me and say, you couldn't think of, letter L, and then they'd give me like 3 words, and I'm like,
it's easier when you're not under pressure to think about it.
You're yelling and screaming it at the phone or at the radio, and I get that. So we will reintroduce the alphabet game next week because it's not fair to do Johnny on the spot with it right now.
I'm going to learn my alphabet.
And also, I'm going to leave the topic up to the viewers.
C. What comes after C?
Yeah. What topic or category would you like to see us do next week?
It's in their hands.
So, absolutely.
Wow.
So, 2 things, guys. Come on, respond. 1, get someone to subscribe and let me know who did it so you can get a free t-shirt. There's awesome t-shirts there. There's some pretty funny ones, some really cool ones. Get a free t-shirt. And number 2, viewer response is important. What category would you like to see us use for the alphabet game next week?
What would you like us to talk about? That's another thing.
Yeah, then they're going to pick a weird subject that's going to be like...
I'm all for it.
You're all for it, all right.
I'm all for talking about whatever they want to hear because it's their show. We're here to talk, but they tune in. We're doing it for them.
Yeah. It's not called the People's Show.
It's not called the People's Show, but it's not called the Joe Cool Show either. We got to work on that.
You want a show? You can go get your own website and call it Joe Cool Show.
Oh, so how do you feel? You'll be able to use the same bathroom as everybody else in Target.
I don't even want to get into that. That is such a stupid topic. And you know what?
Well, you have daughters. How would you feel if you saw some big, hairy, manly beast walk into the same restroom as your daughter, even though I identify as a woman.
Okay.
But you're a dude.
Until the change has been made downstairs, you use the bathroom that you were born to use, regardless of how you dress, walk, and talk. Until you as a male sit and pee like a woman because you don't have that part anymore, until then, you go stand at a urinal and lift your dress up and pee. Sorry, that's how I feel about it. Plain and
I
Jane,
agree
simple.
with you.
Until you've made the change, you use the bathroom you were born to use.
But then how do you go about asking somebody, did you make the change? Or,
Well, if a guy...
Because if I had a kid...
If a guy's dressed like a girl and walks into a men's bathroom, lifts her skirt, and it sprays everywhere, like
like a fire hose.
Like a fire hose, sprays everywhere, spread style, then obviously that change has been made. Now, you can't go to the extremity of checking to see if it's been done, but that's where the honor system comes in at that point. Just be honest. Yeah, I've made the change. I look like a guy, but I'm in the women's bathroom, and I'm going to sit down and pee. Women don't have to stand side by side to pee. They go in stalls. So you're not going to see anything.
Until you get that one pervert with a camera in there and goes up underneath.
I'm not even worried about that. If someone's going to do that, then that's your prerogative. If you're going to go to that extreme, you're just wasting time.
If I had a daughter, I'd be darned if I let some dude go in there with her, whether she
It's just a pee.
It doesn't matter.
I wouldn't be worried about it.
I'd feel funny about it.
Okay, so my oldest.
You have a men's room and you have a woman's
Right.
room. Just go in whatever.
Right. Well, what
know.
about Caitlyn Jenner? Which bathroom?
She still has her man parts.
Okay.
She's a man.
Well, guess what? You're using the men's
You're
bathroom.
using the men's bathroom.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're worried about your daughter. Well, what about your son? Little boy, 8 years old, sees a dude, sees Caitlyn Jenner walk into the bathroom. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's dressed like a girl. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong.
Then you have to ask the question, well, Daddy, why is she using the men's
Is it that offensive to answer the question? It's not a she, it's a he. It's a boy dressed like a girl. Pee and let's go.
And you don't think that causes more problems?
No.
I don't know.
15, 20 years ago, yes. In this day and age, unfortunately, it's more acceptable. Maybe it's not unfortunate. Let me rephrase that.
You got people
but
getting
it's
beat
not.
up.
It's not. Well, then get beat up. But to answer the question, to the point, I don't give a rat's you know what about all the other shiz. That's extra stuff. Chisel that away. If you got the certain part that you were born with, that's the bathroom you use until you change it. That's where I stand on it. I don't care how you're dressed or if you have to answer the question for a little boy or a little girl. That is so irrelevant. It's not that big of a deal. Versus them standing in line behind you at the grocery store or standing in line to use the bathroom.
I agree with your
It's
stance.
not any different.
I agree with your stance as far as whatever parts you're born with, you know, or you have at that time.
You're in and out of there in a
That's what you
minute,
are.
maybe two. It's not going to detrimentally harm my kid for the rest of their life if they saw a guy dressed like a girl using the bathroom or a girl dressed like a guy.
So you're thinking of making them too big of a deal?
What, exactly. We've spent probably 6 minutes talking about it, and it's been 5 minutes too long. In my opinion, it's just straight up. You still got a man part, use the men's bathroom. I don't care how you're dressed. It doesn't offend me. If my son says, hey, Dad, there's a girl in here, I'm just going to say, yeah, well, that's a boy dressed like a girl. And Leo's just going to be like, okay, well, that's weird, and just go on about it. He's not going to sit there and dwell upon that for the next 6 years of his life. That 1-2 minute moment that he saw a girl.
I think it's going to affect people more than what it is.
And if it does, then you need your freaking heads examined. I'm sorry. You're making too big of a deal out of it. You really are. Not you, but in general. I'm not going to have a dude with a deal standing in the stall next to my daughter, standing or sitting and peeing, and worry about that because he decided he wants to be a female. You're peeing. You're not in there exploiting yourself. You're not exposing yourself. That's not the point. The big thing is the bathroom. What is the bathroom used for? Women use it to put on makeup, fix their hair, and pee. What do men do? They pee on the floor. We can't get it in the damn toilet if our lives depended on it. But
let me throw this in on you. You're in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And not you, your daughter. Your daughter's in high school.
Right.
Some dude in high school says, I identify with girls. I want to start changing in the girls' locker room. You okay with that?
You got a man part. You can't.
There are some high schools that people are taking high schools to court now.
Yeah,
because of that.
You shouldn't even a judge should look at that and throw it right out and look at the parents saying, my kid's being singled out because they identify with the opposite sex. I'd say you're.
It shouldn't be
whatever the terminology is.
No, you're right. I'm saying
if it's going to court, then it should get cut off right there. I would look at the parents and say, your kid's a boy. He's changing in the boys' locker room. I don't care how much of a girl he feels he is. He's born with a penis, that's the proper word, in between his legs. Guess what? He's going to change with the other penises in the locker room. End of story. There's no, well, what about this or but that? It is.
You can't use the word I identify
right.
with.
You're male or female. There's a male locker room and a female locker room, and that's it. End of story.
I agree with you there.
Right there. And that's
agree
it.
with you.
Black and white, plain Jane, dot the I's, cross the T. Anybody that brings that to court, a judge should throw it out right away. Don't even waste your time with it.
I like what some people do. They have one bathroom. It's a unisex bathroom.
There you go.
One toilet. Whoever's in there is in there and uses it. They come out, the next one goes in.
Yep. Have a toilet and have a stand-up stall.
Yep.
Pick one. You want to sit or you want to stand?
Yep.
There you go.
There we go. We just solved the whole problem for Target.
Well, it's unfortunate that it's escalated to where it is because people feel the need to really identify or whatever terminology that's being used. Sorry. If you've got the woman part, not to reiterate, but to finalize this, if you got the woman part and you're dressing like a dude, guess what? You're going to go sit on the toilet in the female's bathroom. And guys, if you're changing over to a female and you still got you know what in between your legs, guess what? You're standing up in your dress or skirt.
Yep.
In a men's bathroom and peeing. And I'm not going to be worried about explaining to my son that's a boy dressed like a girl. Plain
You
Jane.
explained it pretty good.
That's it. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I like that. Good thinking.
So, in closing, we'll touch upon some sports. This is where the female audience can now turn this off and drop off because
unless they have that thing in between their legs, then they can listen.
I have to laugh because I do get some criticism that we spend too much time on sports, but I guess this is a little viewership bashing, but sorry.
I'll tell you the number one topic we should talk about.
I shaved my beard.
Your guys losing to Lightning.
I had to shave off my playoff beard. But you know what I do get to do today? Because today is the 25th.
Get the tattoo of the Lightning?
No, I get to take down that profile picture in the jersey.
No.
So that officially comes to an end today, too.
I thought it was a year you had to keep that up.
No, you keep saying a year, you numbskull. You know I wouldn't bet that.
But you bet to get a tattoo on you.
Yeah,
that's for life.
I'm going to put it on the bottom of my foot. You won't ever see it, but at least I have it.
So what did it for you guys?
That last game, watching it, we beat us. Tampa didn't beat us. We couldn't get the puck past Bishop. We should have easily had 4, maybe 5 goals in that game. But right at the end, Mrazek getting the puck with 1:43 to go. He skates behind the net. He goes to cleared it right to Callahan. Callahan just threw it in front of the net, and it went in the goal. We beat our Bishop. Or not Bishop, but Mrazek beat us.
Bishop's a heck of a goalie.
Phenomenal goalie.
I mean, when he first came to the Lightning, I wasn't sold on him because he was getting hurt all the time, and now he's like, man, he might be the best goalie we ever had.
Yeah, he after this season, depending on how well you guys do in the next round here, very comparison to Javi Bullen in his run that when he was there.
Yeah.
And if he's not number 1, he's definitely number 2 as greatest Tampa Bay goalie of all time.
Absolutely.
And congrats to Tampa, and I will bandwagon jump and follow Tampa until they either win it all or get eliminated. So go Lightning.
Now, we had this talk privately, and we're going to do it on air. I said to you, this is the second year that Tampa's taking you out of the playoffs.
And I will say what I said before. Last year, you got lucky. You guys won at home. We won at home. You had 1 extra home game. We didn't. You had that to your advantage. This year, you're the better team. We went into Detroit the first 2 games. We walked you guys like dogs. And your coach figured out whatever formula he needed to figure out to beat Detroit. And you own us.
I think he's changing lines up more. Putting this guy with that guy and this guy with that guy. You're not seeing the same lines.
Well, did you see what happened in the last game, Game 5, against you? How many times did you hear Justin Applegator's name come up?
Yeah, that guy's a troublemaker.
No. How many times did you hear it in that game? Twice. As opposed to twice every minute the previous 4 games.
Right.
He was not aggressive in that game. And look at the final score.
Yeah.
1-0.
Yeah, because that guy was a real a-hole.
When Detroit played aggressive, what happened?
You won.
We lost.
Well, no, you won.
We won 1 game.
2-0.
Yeah, but physicality-wise, when we played a physical game, you guys were skating circles around us. When we slowed down and played our game, that was 0-0 until Mrazek coughed up the puck.
We played physical against you guys too.
But it was a finesse thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we had shots were 2-1. At the end of the second period, we had, I think, 24 shots and you had 14. I mean, we were just out shooting, we were out skating, we were out everything. this season, Tampa's the better team. And we lose Pavel Datsyuk. Unfortunately, he's going home, raise his family. But we just got a young stud, Dylan Larkin, came out of nowhere. He was a freshman at the University of Michigan, go Blue. Got drafted by the Red Wings and did great for us this season. He was an all-star, first time ever, 19 years old, since Steve Yzerman did it back in 81 at the age of 19 for the Red Wings.
Wow.
And you know what's really funny is next season, heaven forbid, the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup next year. Guess what Larkin's not doing in the locker room? Drinking champagne with the rest of the team because he's only 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. That happened to Kobe Bryant the first year that he won a championship. He was 20 years old with the Lakers, and he couldn't celebrate with the team because he wasn't old enough. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. But the media brought that up. They're like, yeah, he's not even old enough to drink. So that was kind of funny. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. Like, even if the Wings win next year, Larkin's not even old enough to drink.
You know what? Let's talk about team drinking a little bit here. Johnny Manziel. We haven't really touched on him.
He just got indicted.
Did he?
For a misdemeanor. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. He's going to be in some trouble for a little while.
How long until we hear he's no longer on this planet?
Now. I think now's that fine line where
he's either going to off himself or
he's going to either turn it around or there's going to be a couple more series of events that just
downfall.
Yeah, quickly. And I want to see him clean up and get back in the NFL. Because the NFL needs a bad boy. I said that several shows ago.
But once he cleans himself up, he won't be that bad.
No, but he's got a mouth on him. He taunts.
Yeah,
so
do I, but I'm not going to go out there and throw 50-yard passes.
Oh, that's true. Speaking of quarterbacks, did you see Jamarcus Russell wants to make a comeback?
Is that right?
Yep. Hasn't been in the league for almost 9 seasons now. And he wants to come back and try to...
I didn't even know he was gone.
Right.
That's how sad it is.
Former number 1 pick for the Oakland Raiders, and they gave him all that money, and he was a flop. They sued him for half that contract back.
What's next? Bo Jackson coming back?
Yeah. Bo could coach.
Bo can coach.
I wish he'd find a team to be some type of coach somewhere.
I wish he'd do something in sports. I like Bo.
Bo is an awesome guy.
Speaking of sports, I just read Vinny LeCavier, former Lightning, planning on retiring.
Oh. He's young too, way too young to do it.
Injuries caught up with him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because
once you have injured hands, you don't shoot as well. And, you know,
doesn't matter how well you skate. You're right. If you can't handle that stick the way you need to, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Conor McGregor and Dana White going at it in the UFC. Do you know the full details behind that? You know what happened with that?
Conor doesn't want to do press.
As much press.
And
it makes sense. And I was listening in to the... What's his name? Brandon Schaub and... who's the guy that does the post-fight interviews for them? Why can I not think of his name? Anyways, his podcast, and I actually tweeted to Schaub about it because he brought up some interesting points from a fighting standpoint and from a promoter standpoint. When Conor McGregor posts, hey, I'm going to beat Nate Diaz's butt at UFC 200, that's so much free publicity for the UFC because there's so many people following Conor McGregor on his Twitter account. There's more people that follow Conor McGregor on his Twitter account than the UFC. So that's like free advertising and promoting of the fight. Well, you get that, plus you're sending Conor to this country and that country and this state and that state to promote the fight.
And he doesn't have the time to train when you do all that.
Right. And you mentally need to, so did he lose to Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz was bigger, badder, and stronger? Or did he lose to Nate Diaz because he didn't have a chance to prepare for him the right way because he was doing that press roll again?
It's a good point. I never looked at it like that.
Because watching that fight against Nate, everything he threw at Nate walked right through it.
Right.
It was
just
like
kept on coming.
It literally
Possessed.
was like watching Rocky 3 when Rocky fought Clubber Lang. Everything.
Come on, hit me.
Yeah.
Hit me. My grandmother hits harder.
Right. You know, he everything Clubber took. He walked right through Rocky.
Right.
So could we potentially have that match later on down the road? Maybe, maybe not. Now the rumbling is, of course, Conor wants to be part of UFC 200. Dana's saying, too bad, so sad. I'm going to get someone else to fight Nate Diaz. So guess who's lurking in the shadows that's been training this whole time? And this is where I find it really cool, but it kind of pisses me off as a fan that it's been a kind of a work on us.
I know who it is. Barack.
No. To fight Nate Diaz. Who's his size?
Ronda Rousey? No. Let me think.
And he hasn't been in the UFC in a while.
Who?
George St. Pierre.
Wow.
They're trying to work out a deal to bring him back, but George's standpoint is, I want X amount of money that I'm going to get from Reebok. That's his big sponsor. And Reebok only wants to sign George to a certain amount. I don't know what the dollar amount is. That's not been disclosed. But George wants X amount to fight, and if Reebok doesn't put up the whole amount, he wants Dana to put up the difference.
See, these guys are commanding their money now.
Well, because... And guys like McGregor, Pierre, Diaz, Jones, so on and so forth, they should be able to. You know how much money these events make?
Oh, yeah.
That's officially put on the books. It's 3 to 4 times more what you don't see off the books. Because they're not a publicly traded company, they're not forced to disclose their full financials. So when they say, yeah, we put 23,000 people in X stadium and the average ticket price was $150, well, you do the math real quick, whatever that comes out to, but you're not factoring pay-per-view buys. You're not factoring in the fact the front row seats are $500 to $1,000 a seat.
Right.
You're not factoring in merchandise sales, advertising, sponsors, blah 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 blah. So an event, they might walk away. You know, they're paying these guys, for knockout of the night, you get $30,000. Well, if you can give me $30,000 for knockout on the night, why can't you give me $5 million to put my face on that poster?
Right. I mean, they're the ones that are selling the tickets.
Right. You know, at any given time, some of the better fights and fighters have walked away with 100, 150,000, 200,000. And McGregor wanted $10 million to do the fight with Diaz. Right. And Dana's like, there's no way. And McGregor's like, look, I tweet Diaz as a donkey donk, and millions of people see it. I'm giving you free publicity. So you know what's going to happen moving forward? And The Rock just mentioned this on his account last week. And this is going to be interesting to see. Every time The Rock tweets about something or posts something, it promotes the whatever movie he's doing. Right. Now he's going to say, okay, Lionsgate or Warner Brothers or whoever he's doing a movie for, I'm going to promote this, but you're going to pay me to tweet about it, because that's my personal time.
Is another form of
promoting and advertising. Absolutely. So it'd be interesting to see, because The Rock's got half the planet following him. Yeah. You know, every time he says something and does something, and I get it. Like, it's another avenue of revenue for these celebrities, these fighters, whoever, athletes. They're going to try making money off of it, and I'm down with it. I mean,
I understand where they're coming from, but so much. I mean, you're tweeting.
It sounds so irrelevant.
Do you actually know it's The Rock tweeting or publicist sending out the tweet?
Could be one or the other. Could be one. Well, The Rock's doing it right from his phone. He's showing a picture of himself.
Okay.
He selfies more than anybody.
And then you have to wonder, is it really his account?
Doesn't matter. It's verified.
There's so many things that go into that.
That's the little detail.
And I'm looking at it just from... I'm I look at both sides of the fence. Okay. I'm a skeptic when it comes to certain things.
Well, certain accounts are verified. Like McGregor's is verified. The Rock's is verified. There's a verification process they go through. Phone number, you call in, you confirm, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't, I mean, accounts like that, it's obvious it's the person that they say they are. If it's like a B-lister, C-lister, yeah, you got to kind of scratch your head and say, is it really that person? I get that. I see where you're coming from. But end of the day, whether it's them, their publicist, or someone acting as them, they're still promoting it.
Off their
they're still promoting whatever it is that's coming up.
Right.
So, you don't see The Rock tweeting Hercules 2. And everyone's like, there's no such thing as Hercules 2. He did Hercules in San Andreas. And, if it's something out of the ordinary, it's obviously not that person.
Right,
so
right. I get that. And I understand where the fighters are coming from.
So McGregor wants to be part of 200, UFC 200. And
McGregor is the face of UFC right
now. And it's a moneymaker. But it was all because he's like, look, if I'm going to take that fight on, I don't want to be running around all over God's green earth promoting it because I need to train. I get that. But then don't say, well, then I'm just going to retire after this fight either.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're taking your ball and going home.
Right. And as a promoter, I mean, being a wrestling promoter, if someone tells me, okay, this is my last match, well, then I'm gonna position it a little bit differently. I'm gonna make the money that I need to make, and you're gonna make the money that you need to make. But there's a difference when you're in your prime, and this is a money-making machine, and then you're just gonna say, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit.
Right.
Excuse you? I'll slap you in the face. I provided the platform for you to get rich and famous, and you took off from there. Then you're going to slam it down my throat and say you're going home?
Let's stick with UFC for a second. John Jones, victorious the other night.
Yeah, interim champ.
How many people do you think actually cared? I mean, I've never even heard of the guy he fought, and it's John Jones.
You and I used to go to every UFC pay-per-view, whether it be Ale House or Buffalo Wild Wings. We could name just about every fighter that was on the card, or at least saw them up and coming, got familiar with them. I haven't watched a full UFC pay-per-view in a couple years. It's of no interest to me because the names aren't there. But you know what? If I was watching it regularly, I'd probably get a better feel and better appreciation of it. And like you said, it's a nobody that we've ever heard of, but you know what, it's somebody because he was in the championship fight. So it wasn't just some whoever that Dana picked and said, okay, Mr. X, you're going to be in the title fight. Like, it had to be someone that was in contention, because Dana won't put a nobody in there unless they've got something behind him. He doesn't book and promote trash. He won't put someone in there that's 9 wins and 7 losses in a title fight. It's going to be someone that's put together a win streak. They're 6-1, 7-2. They're on the winning side.
You said he doesn't promote trash, but didn't he put
for a title fight? For a title fight.
Herschel Walker, was it? Who did we see?
Herschel Walker tried to. No, that was James Toney.
James Toney,
the boxer. He begged and pleaded. And
he put him against Couture or somebody.
And Dana was like, I'll never put a circus in my ring. But see, Dana's a boxing guy. He loves boxing. And he's like, you know what? Tony's been around. He can handle himself. Let him train. As long as he gets the right training from the right camp, I'll allow it. And he did. He got the training. He didn't get enough training, obviously, because Couture whipped his ass.
You're not going to go against Randy Couture.
Right.
You're not going to.
No.
I just... Jones is another one you got to throw into that. Where's his head at? He might be another Johnny Manziel before long.
Eventually. I think he's just really fallen off the wagon, man. He's really getting in a bad position in his career. So there must be some stuff going on, externally, personally with him that's putting him in that place.
I know Jake the Snake Roberts, reached out to Manziel and tried to talk to him and get him help, because if anybody could turn their life around, I mean, Jake turned his life around.
Well, Jake's got
everybody thought Jake was a lost cause.
He's got Dallas Page as a backer, like as a confidant. So that's to have Jake reach out to you, knowing that page is behind him
Yeah.
to help out, man, if so,
it would help.
yeah, oh, absolutely,
help.
yeah,
I support
you'll
Jake.
get your life turned around real quick with those two pushing
Yeah,
on you.
because who would ever think Jake would live,
Right,
this small?
right.
But he has. God bless him.
Well, guys, that's another episode of the Brian Gould Show for you. We went a little long and probably rambled too much for some of you, and if that is the case, I apologize. Just,
I don't. We can stay another hour. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, well. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said earlier, please grab somebody's phone, grab their tablet, grab their laptop, and hit the subscribe button for us. And when you do that, let me know and pick out a shirt. I'll get you a free t-shirt for doing that. And also, next week's alphabet game is in your hands. Give us the category or subject matter that you'd like to see us play, and we most definitely will do it. Leave a comment, post something on Twitter, Facebook, text me, call the 800 number hotline, whatever it is that you wish to do. But once again, I am your host, Brian Gould, along with
Joe Cool.
And we are signing off. Say sayonara, Joe.
Sayonara, Joe.